Welcome, everyone. My name is Linda Martien, and I am the Missouri State Coordinator for Quilts of Valor. Quilts of Valor was founded 21 years ago by a young woman, maybe not so young. She was a mother. Her son at the time was serving in Afghanistan, and she wanted to find a way to honor his service. Catherine was a quilter, and so she started to make quilts that could be awarded to veterans who were returning from, at that time, Afghanistan. The very first Quilt of Valor was awarded at Walter Reed Hospital near where she lived. What drove her to this was a dream that she had. She dreamed of a young man sitting on a hospital bed. His demeanor was one of despair and dejection and depression. She said you could see the demons of war circling around his head. She dreamed about that young man a few days later, only in this dream, he was sitting on the side of his bed, and he was smiling and cheerful, and his spirits were uplifted. Can you imagine what the difference was between the two dreams? In the second dream, the young soldier was wrapped in a quilt, and that gave her the whole quilts equal comfort and healing. We're 21 years old this year. Since then, over the last 21 years, as of the end of February, Quilts of Valor volunteers have quilted and awarded over 377,000 Quilts of Valor. So, yes, I agree. As I mentioned, the first quilt was awarded at Walter Reed Hospital. The hospital chaplain, Reverend Callison, orchestrated that with Catherine Roberts. It helped that Catherine knew his wife, and so that began. We were fortunate to hear him speak at our 20th anniversary celebration last year. And he said it started with a few quilts stacked on the end of the couch in his office. Well, then he had to move them to the closet because it buried the couch. From there, they had to give him his own storage room, and from there, it went to a warehouse. Today, there are, here in Missouri, 18 groups that meet together and sew Quilts of Valor. And then we meet like this to award those quilts. Our mission statement is to cover veterans and active duty service members with healing and comforting Quilts of Valor. Part of our mission statement says those who are touched by war. We don't presume to define that because it is an intensely personal experience. You need not be a veteran of the battlefield or even a war zone to receive a Quilt of Valor. You only need to have been honorably discharged. We firmly believe that all those who serve equally. They sign the same oath, essentially writing the same blank check to our government, payable with up to and including their lives. The fact that these gentlemen are here today is by the grace of God. We are governed by a board of directors. They help us oversee over 15,000 members. You see here our groups here in Missouri. Our quilts must meet certain criteria. They are of a certain size. 60 by 80 inches is the average. They have to have a label. You can see on This quilt, it's upside down, but we inscribe the name of each veteran on their quilt, along with today's date. It also has the name of the maker on the quilt. That's the end of my presentation. Let's go ahead and get to the reason we're all here today. We are honoring, or we plan to honor, 7 veterans. We're still waiting for one gentleman. And I'm going to do these in order of dates of service. We are very fortunate to have with us today a family of veterans. So would the Benham gentlemen please come and stand here in front? We have Ernest, who is the patriarch of our family, and then sons Carl and Earl. This quilt of valor is made for Ernest Benham. Mr. Benham, your name is inscribed on this quilt with today's date and the makers. This quilt actually came all the way to you from Florida. I have a friend who is a quilter there. She's from Missouri, and she wants her quilts to go to Missouri veterans. This is one of her quilts. He says he wished he had it yesterday when it got cold. We hope you all use your Quilts of Valor. Put them on your bed or your sofa or your easy chair and put them to good use. Next week, we have, you are the older, Carl. Okay. Who's the maker of this quilt? This quilt was made and donated to us by the Missouri State Quilters Guild. These are quilters all over the state. Join and quilt. And the third member of the family, Earl. There you go. Each of the veterans receiving a quilt today will receive a certificate from the Quilts of Valor Foundation. Their name is inscribed on it to be kept. Also with the quilt is a case, and if the quilt isn't being used, it can be stored in a cotton case, which we recommend. Mr. Robinet, now it's your turn.
Mr. Robinet, I just wanted to thank you for your service and let you know that we had your name, but we wanted to give you to the quilt today. So here I am, Kathy Patterson.
Mr. Robinet served from 1957 to 1958 in the United States Army. Thank you, sir, for your service. Okay. Next, I'd like to introduce to you Pamela M. Pam, this is your Quilt of Valor. You'll notice while many quilts are pieced, this one is a combination of pieced and embroidered blocks. She was a hospital corpsman from 74 to the 90s, I believe. Our next veteran we'd like to honor is Michael Mello. Michael? Thank you. Michael served from 1990 to 1992 in the Army. He was deployed to Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. He has also served in law enforcement for the last 21 years. His friend who nominated him said that his companionship and fellowship was important to many people in their unit. He made the worst times tolerable. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Thank you for being here. If you know of a veteran that you would like to see honored such as this, please go to our website, QOVF.org, and nominate them. Gentlemen, would you like to stand? And lady?